Larry Kudlow. Larry,
Jay Powell's going to understand what you're talking about when he loses his job.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming.
So you mean loses instead of easing out in May, losing it before May?
However you define it, okay?
Right.
I mean, Reagan always said you're in a recession when your neighbor loses his job. And I think Jay Powell should think more seriously.
And you're in depression when you lose yours.
I don't think it's, I mean, I think the economy on the whole is pretty good, okay?
Right.
I don't want to badmouth it. Business is very good. And everybody I talk to, deals and mergers and acquisitions and data centers and business equipment and 100% expensing and new factories are coming, all that's really good. Housing's terrible, as we were talking about before the break, during the break. Housing's terrible. Consumers are somewhere in between. But look, the inflation rate, okay, I heard your inflation numbers, but the deflator was basically 2.1% in the second quarter. I mean, that's a very good number.
Sure.
And that's a number, it's much lower than it was last fall when they had the jumbo rate cut before the election.
And that brings up, listen, last year, a lot of guests came on and said this was a politically motivated rate cut. I pushed back on that back then. It's hard to push back on it right now in hindsight because all of a sudden there are new rules out there. But I want to go back to housing. 35 and under, the largest asset is their home. And it feels like the American dream has been based off, hey, let's get a home, let's have household formation. That's the engine. You have children, they go to school. That's what drives us, right? You need kids. We got a fertility crisis right now. And that's missing, Larry, and I'm really concerned about that.
Yeah, I mean, if you own a home, you're doing well because prices are high and it's a form of wealth. The trick is getting into a home. That's the trick. And there are zoning issues and regulatory issues that are not unimportant, but interest rates and mortgage rates are very important in this game. As if you had a mortgage rate that was 2.5% to 3.5%, you don't feel like selling because you're going to have to swap into something that'll give you a much higher mortgage rate. There are a lot of impediments to it. Not everyone agrees with me, but I kind of like Trump's idea of just waiving the capital gains tax altogether on housing. Because then I was thinking, if you did it for housing, then the next thing you might want to do is for stocks. And in fact, you might want to waive the get rid of the capital gains tax altogether, or at the very least, index it for inflation. Taxes can help here. That's what I'm saying. Now, one big beautiful bill hasn't really kicked in yet. It's just passed.
Sure.
So that's coming down the road.
And more deregulation is going to come.
A lot of jobs, factories, business equipment, data centers, as I said, all that stuff, that's coming. You saw some of that in the 3% GDP number that was out this week. So it's not all bad.
Yeah.
It's just that we could do better. Do you think Jay Powell knows? Does he know? I'm told, you want to know the truth? I'm told that economists at the Fed do not agree with Jay Powell, that they're not worried about tariff inflation. I've heard that from several sources.
He wasn't worried about it until 3 months ago. He's on the record as saying it's a one-time price increase. He was not afraid of it at all, and this is what infuriates a lot of people. What happened to him?
He's taken his eye off the ball because he's rebuilding that Taj Mahal they got going there, and he's losing $100 million a year on a mismatch asset and liability. By the way, this is Senator Ted Cruz. The Fed is spending $168 billion. Here, $168 billion per year, paying banks reserves
not to lend
at
money.
4.5%. Almost half of it's paying foreign banks.
Yeah.
They're not even American banks.
Yeah, if you're in the system.
Less.
They're the same ones who got bailed out. They're all in that Fed system.
That is not a cool policy.
So, but we're going to be okay even if we have to wait till May.
Until May. We're going to be, look, the Fed will jumbo rate cut in September, but they should have done it. They should have done it yesterday, for heaven's sakes.
Larry Kudlow, of course, you watch him every day. He's #1 in the business world.
Thank you, Charles.